Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about basic mistakes that people make when learning Spanish. These are mistakes that everyone can make no matter your native language, but especially if you are a native English speaker, this video is for you. The first one are the verbs ser and estar. So I know a lot of people talk about this like ser is for long-term things and estar for short term, but actually it's not only about the duration of something. With the explanation that ser is for permanent things and estar for temporal things, you can talk without too much problem, but actually it's not everything. Because actually ser describes the essence of something and estar describes like the state or the condition of something. Like for example, if you say soy hombre or soy de Mexico, you are saying that is a part of you. Like it's not a condition, but it's something that defines you. So that's why we use it like with nationality, for example. Like in English, I am from Mexico, or in Spanish, soy de Mexico, because you are describing that is like a part of you. Like it's not that you are from this country sometimes, but sometimes from other country. It's like it's a part of your identity. And if you say, like, for example, estoy bien or está soleado, you are talking about a condition. Like, if you say estoy bien, you are talking about, like, your emotions, for example, or your physical condition. And, for example, in the phrase está soleado, you are talking about the weather. So, it might be rainy one day and sunny the other day. So, it changes. So, being sunny is not like really particular condition or something that actually describes the essence of the weather. So because it changes and we are talking about an state, we use the verb estar. And something funny about these verbs is that we use these both verbs for the same situation. Like for example, estar casado or ser casado. So this means to be married, but some people say, for example, estoy casado, and other people say soy casado. So actually, there is not like right or wrong answer for this. Actually, both are correct, but it depends like on the person, or maybe it depends even about what they think about marriage, like the vision we have about it. So we can say it in both ways, or maybe we native speakers don't mix these verbs in the same way as an English speaker, for example. But sometimes some people use estar and some people use ser, but for some particular situations, like in this case, like to be married. The second one is when people say buscar por. So I notice this mistake a lot when I see people writing a message or talking, because in English people say I am looking for, but in Spanish you don't need the preposition. Like unless you are talking about a person, like for example, I am looking for my friend. It means estoy buscando a mi amigo. So you use the preposition a. But if you are talking about any other thing, or for example, if you want to say I am looking for my wallet, you just say estoy buscando mi cartera. So you don't need a preposition. Actually, this mistake is really simple to avoid, but I see a lot of people make this mistake, so that's why I'm talking about it. The third one is a mistake that I also make. So it's funny because these words are really similar. They have actually the same meaning, but not in all the situations. So this is the word realize, that means realizar in Spanish. As I said, it doesn't mean the same in all the situations. So it means in Spanish also darse cuenta. So, for example, sometimes I want to say in Spanish, like, for example, me di cuenta que tenía que practicar más. That means I realized that I need to practice more. So, for example, what happens to me sometimes is that I am about to say, realicé que tenía que practicar más. So it's not correct, but since it's a really similar word to the word realize in English, so we can confuse it a lot. And I know this might be a bit more difficult than other mistakes, because this is a reflexive verb. So the verb is dar, but in this case it's reflexive, so it's darse. It's like a bit like the verb gustar. Like we don't use the verb gustar by itself. We say me gusta, te gusta, for example. So it's similar. I will give you a bit examples. So so you can pause the video and check the examples. Basically, what I want to say is that realize can mean realizar, but just when we talk about to do or to make something. But it doesn't mean that you realize something that you didn't know and now you know. For that we use darse cuenta, like me doy cuenta, te das cuenta, etc. The last one is again the verb ser, but in this case with tener. So and I see this mistake a lot. So if you can avoid this mistake, your Spanish will not look like really basic. Like for example, I see a lot of times, like when someone is introducing himself, like for example, he says, soy 23 años, when the correct form is tengo 23 años. So I know since in English we say I am 23 years old, we might get a bit confused and say soy 23 años. So actually I don't think like there is a really logical explanation for this, like with the verbs ser and estar. I think you just need to memorize it. Actually it's not complicated. And also, for example, this might be a bit funny because, for example, in English you might say I am hot or I am cold. So, but in Spanish you also use the verb tener. So it would be tengo calor and tengo frío. For example, this is funny because you can use like three verbs in Spanish when the translation to English would be only one verb. So, for example, if you say I am cold, like if you translate it as, for example, soy frío, it means like you are a cold person, like about your personality. If you say estoy frío, that literally means that your body is cold. So not that you are feeling cold, but you are physically cold. And if you say tengo frío, that means I'm cold, meaning that you are feeling cold, like the weather is cold. And also the same when you talk about if you are hungry, for example, you would say tengo hambre. Or if you are thirsty, tengo sed. These are some mistakes that I've noticed when talking with people or when I see people writing in Spanish. So this is just a small compilation about some mistakes, but that I consider they will be really useful. So if you like the video and it's useful for you or entertaining or you just like the video, so you can like the video and subscribe, and see you in a next video.